God message today. 11 minutes. That's all it took. In the quiet town of Lindale Creek, where nothing ever seemed to shift, everything changed without warning. No lightning bolt, no sirens, just a moment, a single sacred heartbeat in time that realigned the course of two souls who were always meant to find one another again. I was there. No one saw me. No one heard me. But I stood in the hush of that moment when Corin made a decision that not even the stars anticipated. He had walked the same trail behind the old chapel for weeks, thinking he was moving forward, pretending the ache in his chest was just nostalgia, not longing. But today was different. Something stirred in him. It wasn't grand, not to the world, not loud, no fireworks, no shouts. Just a man, with breath caught between ribs, staring at the horizon like it might speak the words he hadn't dared say. And he chose. He didn't whisper it to a friend. He didn't send a message. But I felt it, pulsing through the air like a wave, his spirit reaching across space towards someone he had long buried under regret and silence, toward a Lara she hadn't known. She was 2 towns over in Braemont, folding clothes by the window, while the sun bent softly over her face. She thought she was done wondering. She had just told herself yesterday that maybe some stories were meant to stay unfinished. She had decided that not all prayers bloom, but that was before Corin's soul moved. He remembered, not vaguely, not wistfully, but vividly, like waking up from a long winter and suddenly smelling spring. Something sacred returned to him. Images of shared laughter under golden leaves, the scent of her skin after rain, the way her voice used to say his name like it held the world together. And then he acted. It may have been small, a decision, a vow silently spoken in the woods. It may have been a letter he finally wrote but didn't yet send. It might have been a plan he made in secret, something only he and the divine knew. But it shifted everything, because what happens in the soul echoes through the universe. He had resisted for years, told himself Ilara was better off without him. He believed love like that couldn't be healed, not after all the broken pieces. But something inside him cracked open today, 11 minutes ago, and he allowed the memory to become more than pain. He let it become a reason to begin again. Do you understand how rare that is? Even heaven paused. Even the wind stood still, not because he was perfect, not because his story was neat and clean, but because real love requires that kind of bravery, the kind that rises in the silence, unseen, uncelebrated, the kind that moves when no one else is looking. And Ilara, she felt something shift. Her hands trembled just slightly as she folded the last shirt. She didn't know why tears suddenly stung her eyes, but she looked out the window toward the hills and whispered, "Why now?" Because her soul recognized the echo. She had cried for him, prayed when no one saw, waited in ways even she didn't fully understand. And in those 11 minutes, something answered. She's not crazy for feeling it. You wouldn't be either. Because these things, soul level things, don't operate by rules of time or logic. They live in the deep, in the marrow, in the holy hush of moments that seem ordinary until they're not. That's why I'm here now. Not to predict, not to promise, but to witness. You need to know this moment belongs to you too. If you've been carrying weight in your chest, if your dreams have felt too quiet lately, it's not just exhaustion. Something is waking up, not just in them, in you. You're starting to feel again, to believe again. That connection, that thread that held you once, it's not broken. It's been sleeping, but now it stirs, gently, powerfully. And if your heart is trembling, it's because it recognizes its own reflection returning. Let me tell you something sacred. Corinne's decision wasn't a fluke. It was. Bury her name, and failed. And when he finally stopped resisting, when he let the truth rise, he found her again, not physically, but soulfully. He may not have words yet. He may not knock on her door tomorrow, but the current has changed. The air between them sings a different song now, and Ilara will feel it. She already does. It's in the way her laughter has returned, in the way she suddenly remembers his favorite song, in the dreams that feel more real than memory, in the silence that no longer feels empty, but expectant. This moment is not about grandeur, it's about alignment. You, dear one, are being invited to walk in it too. You're not being left out, you're not forgotten. And if you've cried out wondering if they ever looked back, yes, they do. More than you know, more than they've ever said. The decision made today will change everything. Not instantly, not with thunder, but in quiet ways. A shift in the wind, a softened heart, a new beginning seated in the ashes of yesterday, and the universe is holding its breath. Because when two souls destined for one another take even a single step back toward truth, all of creation celebrates. So if your heart is beating faster, if your chest feels tight with something you can't name, it's not your imagination. You're being pulled too, because you are part of this story. You always were. You planted prayers when no one saw. You believed even when hope felt heavy. And now the soil is breaking. Something holy is rising. Corinne's soul moved. Ilara's heart opened. And you, dear one, stand in the sacred space between what was and what is coming. So breathe. Let the silence speak. Let the truth settle like warm light across your shoulders. Because love, real love, doesn't vanish. It transforms. It endures. It returns. And now, it begins again. The moment the sky shifted over Ilara. It started in the stillness, barely noticed, but undeniable. 11 minutes ago, the sky over Ilara changed. A veil lifted. Not a dramatic flash, not a roaring wind, just a hush, sacred and holy, that even the stars paused to witness. And you felt it. You didn't know what it was, not right away. But your soul stirred. Your chest tightened with something familiar and unspoken. And here you are, reading this, hearing these words, not by accident, not by chance, but by divine choreography. So take a breath, my beloved. Let your shoulders loosen. Let the storm inside you hush, because something true is arriving. The ache you've been carrying, the confusion, the silence, the unanswered whys, they've not been ignored. The heavens have watched. Every whisper you've ever cried into your pillow, every late night when you stared at the ceiling wondering if love like yours was cursed to be lost, they heard it, they heard you, and they waited for this moment. This isn't just a message, it's a revelation, a turning of tides, the beginning of something real. And if you choose to stay here, heart open and soul listening, everything, everything will begin to make sense. Your heart still calls for him, Kalen, the one your soul never forgot, the one you loved not with need, but with knowing, the one who for a time was pulled away from you by forces you couldn't see, forces that didn't come wearing horns, but wore the mask of trust, a woman named Serafina. She wasn't a stranger, she was close, entwined in his world like roots around an ancient tree, a voice that whispered in his ear not wisdom, but fear, control, manipulation. And slowly she became the filter through which he saw you. She said your love was too intense, too risky, that you were too much, that real love doesn't feel like wildfire. And Kalen, still wounded from old betrayals, believed her, or he tried to. Each time your love tried to reach him, her shadow rose like a wall. Her words echoed louder than the truth he felt with you. And so, in confusion, he drifted. He didn't stop loving you. He just couldn't hear that love clearly anymore. But then, 11 minutes ago, he woke up. It was nothing visible. No lightning, no earthquake, just a soul level thunder that cracked open the trance. He saw her, not as his guide, not as his truth, but as the one who had been feeding his fears, feeding his doubts, and starving his heart. He saw you, not as the past, not as the mistake. He saw you as the blessing he had once prayed for, then ran from. And he made a choice, not a hesitant maybe, not a someday soon, a decision. He walked away from her, from the control, from the lies, from the safety of numbness, and in doing so, he walked toward you. But listen closely, because this matters. Serafina will not go quietly. Her pride is a wild thing. Her sense of control has shattered, and she will try, with venom and charm alike, to reclaim what she's lost. She will twist truth into poison. She will paint herself as the victim. She will call you the destroyer. Do not fear her. She is loud, yes, but she is no match for a love that has been purified by fire. This love between you and Kalen, it's not ordinary. It has been watched over, guarded, and now, finally, it is being chosen. He chose you, and now you must choose to protect what has begun, not with fists, not with fear, but with faith, with prayer, with spiritual fire that no darkness can touch. So type yes with your heart if you're ready to claim this. And when you're ready, pray, not out of desperation, but as a warrior of light, divine prayer of protection. O light eternal, sovereign and gentle, I come before you not with trembling, but with trust. 11 minutes ago, a bond was unbroken. The one I love, Kalen, chose truth, chose love, chose freedom. He stepped away from the shadow that had held him captive. He turned away from Serafina, the one who clothed lies in affection, and he walked into the clearing. He walked toward me. Now, Lord of all that is sacred, I ask, protect what has risen from the ashes. Surround this love with your fiercest angels. Let their wings become a wall. Let no bitterness pass, no whispers invade, no spell, no curse, no slander undo this divine reconnection. Let every wound find balm. Let every scar soften under your gaze. Let the echoes of confusion be replaced with clarity, and the remnants of fear melt into peace. This love, it is not ordinary. It was dreamt into being by you. It has been fought for, cried over, prayed into existence. Let it rise in joy. Let it rest in truth. Let it bloom in your timing, with your blessing. I release the weight of waiting. I release the ache of past betrayals. I embrace the new beginning you've allowed. I claim this love, not out of ego, but out of sacred recognition. And I promise to hold it with grace. This union is holy. Let heaven record it. Let earth protect it. Let our souls rejoice in it. Amen. Breathe now, not because the journey is over, but because the path ahead has finally opened. Kalen knows, he remembers, he sees. You were never too much. You were exactly what love was meant to feel like. And now, finally, the story begins. Not from the beginning, but from the becoming. Type yes if you believe in Ode. Type 1111 if you believe in God.